seen, the Loremaster's Arcanum banner is up, Ashlyn, and we'll give Rob a couple of minutes here. That'll let me get a couple more scenes set. But in the meantime, you guys can interact. If you do bring up, as I mentioned, your Twitch on the other monitor, you'll be able to see the chat. And Amanda, good to see you. Good evening.
We are.
How are you tonight? Whoops.
Hi, Amanda.
Pulling this over here. Audio sound okay for you, Rachel? Are you hearing the background music? Shouldn't be too loud.
It doesn't sound too loud to me.
Okay, good. You, Ashlyn? Everything sound all right?
Sounds good to me.
All right.
But I have the benefit of I'm not wearing earplugs.
Yeah, I normally don't on Wednesday nights either, but I had my audio, some stuff going on here, so I'm wearing the headphones tonight.
What? Audio issues? Nah.
Yeah, nah.
That definitely didn't happen earlier today. You definitely didn't watch me struggle with that.
Banish the thought.
Technology always works exactly how it should.
Precisely.
100% of the time.
All the time. No hesitation.
Particularly when it's important.
Oh.
Exactly.
When you really need it to not screw up.
Or when you're short on time. That's always.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's always the best. That is like 80% of my job is, oh, something's not working. Did we clear cache and cookies yet?
Exactly.
That is my go-to fix now for anything online.
Yes, absolutely. Clear the cache, clear the cookies, then eventually reboot the machine. Let's give Rob another moment. Audio issues never on a Blue Box stream. Banish the thought.
What?
No, it's like the more I was telling Ashlyn before, like the more complex and the more, I mean, Rachel, you've seen like all the audio gear we have in here, and it's just like a ridiculous amount of stuff, and yet still
So much.
something will, and it's like inevitably whenever you introduce a new piece of tech, whatever it may be, it's going to have an impact that you didn't anticipate.
Absolutely.
Hey, Pat, good to see you. Thanks for joining. Hey, Jeff, thanks for jumping in the chat. Good to see you as well. Trust me, audio for Blue Box is 100% better than the what streams? Oh, the Trollor game streams. Yes, fairly certain Davis is responsible for 42% of all IT calls. Hello, Tracy. Good to see you.
He did give me Finley back, but I wanted to leave him there because I was scared that I might forget him. Like, leave him at my house instead of bring him with me for the next stream because I am forgetful and can tend to leave things. And I definitely did not want to leave Finley and not have him for a stream.
That's the cover story. The reality is that I'm holding Finley hostage.
He's hostage. I just wasn't allowed to say or else he'll kill him.
He is in the possession of one of my NPCs, and we'll see.
Finley's his own rat. He's in possession of no one's possession. I love him so much.
Hey everyone, we'll be kicking over to video in just a moment. We're just waiting on Robin. In fact, you know what? Maybe let me check the 3 view. We might be able to just kick that one off and then switch over when Rob joins. Hang on here. Let me see. Yeah, that one's going to work.
It's so fun to look at other people's collections of minis.
So the minis are over there. I'm in a closet.
Oh, incredible.
Like my workshop, my very, very messy workshop's across from me, and I am on a little, like, spinny chair, looking at a different spinny chair with boxes stacked.
Incredible. Hey, improvise where you gotta.
Okay, all right, now let me, Rob's here, now let me get everybody set properly in the cams. Rob, let me introduce you, Ashlyn, Rob.
Hi.
Hello.
Rob goes by Phantom NJ, and he is one of our mods here. He doesn't play in any of my regular games, but he does run a show on Friday nights here called Loremaster's Arcanum that runs in our Discord. He's an admin, he's a mod, a huge member of the community. And
You want me to back that up a second?
Yeah.
What's that?
What game do I run on Fridays?
What did I say?
Loremaster's Arcanum.
Oh, okay. This is me multitasking. I'm barely paying attention to what's coming out of my mouth at the moment. So I'm actually, because Rob decided to skate in under the door at 5:31, I couldn't set up the views on this screen here. So I'm getting that all set. and throwing Rob under the bus at the same time.
What else is new?
I mean, there always has to be a scapegoat.
Always.
We call this Wednesday.
We call this Wednesday. That's right. So Rob runs Friday Night Crusades, which is a fun show that runs in our Discord every Friday night. And Rob, why don't you you can do a quick FNC commercial here while I'm finishing this up and explain it to Ashlyn as well.
Yeah, so the basic idea is we sat around in Discord one day and we were all just talking about how, we're all bored. And I was like, well, what if I put together a game and, you can come in when you want, leave when you want, play one week, not play the next week, and it'll just be continuous game. It started off with like 3 or 4 people showing up regularly. Now I've got probably a good 7 or 8 who are there every week. I've had as many as 13 in 1 week, and the general idea is you show up, you get a character, you have a character, well, you're going. I don't care, right? We'll just drop you in.
That's it. All right, we're going to go ahead and transition over to our regular live view, and in 3 seconds, you are both heard and seen. In 3, 2, and 1.
Here we go.
Hello and welcome to Blue Box. This is Loremaster's Arcanum, episode 102. Hard to believe we moved that quickly, and we're off to a great start in the new year. As always tonight, I am joined by Robert, the ever mistaken, my right hand, and good to have you with us tonight, Rob. We have a treat tonight in having Rachel with us. You know her as Mila on our Sunday streams for Tears of Aird, and she's joined us on a few LMAs as well, and I thought it would be great to have her on tonight. And then I am joined by the guest of the hour, the amazing, the talented Ashlyn of the Dollar Store DM. And she and I have just been talking for a couple of weeks. I'll explain to everyone again how we kind of connected. But Ashlyn, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Super, really excited to be here. I suddenly couldn't talk anymore.
That's a mood. That's a mood.
That really is.
It really is.
So I'm going to keep fixing cams here. Don't mind me if you're watching streamers as I get all these cams lined up properly. But Ashlyn had, so you know Josh, who plays in my Greyhawk Awakening campaign. You know Manda, Mystical Unicorn, who is the mod of all mods and she who must be obeyed. Anyone else on Blue Box that you knew before?
Vivi.
Oh, you know Vivi. Okay. Yeah, also, she's super awesome. Vivi on my Greyhawk Awakening. She and I had a nice catch-up call yesterday. And so you're already part of the family here, part of the community that we have. And I noticed that you had posted on your Instagram account, hey, I was watching Blue Box the other day, and I saw the tavern tables would be these guys right here from Dwarven Forge. And you then went ahead and created your own. And I said, who is this lady? And so I checked out your Instagram stuff, and I thought, this is awesome. So thank you again for joining us tonight. We're going to get into the crafting. I've got your website here. I've got your YouTube channel. I thought we could talk about your Patreon and some of the stuff that you do there as well. But before we jump into any of that, let me ask you, how did you get started in D&D to begin with? What was your sort of entree into the game we all love?
So I was the kid who I wrote really, really bad fantasy stories in middle school. It exists somewhere in my parents' house. I hand wrote it.
Okay.
It's not good. I'm going to preface it there. Middle school Ashlyn, not the best.
I'm sure it was great. You're being hard on yourself.
As someone who writes stories much more frequently now, it was not good. But growing up, I was always a big fantasy nerd. My brother, who is 2, I'm the oldest of 3, only girl, middle child brother, played D&D in high school.
Okay.
I was doing band and choir and all sorts of musical things. Really should have, it makes very much sense. I actually didn't start playing D&D until after college, when my husband's best friend had played with some of his friends where he lived, and when he moved to San Diego, was like, hey, I would love to run a campaign for you guys. And we're like, sure. I was down immediately. I was the one who got everybody else in gear. Come on. I've been wanting to play D&D. Please join Someone wants to run it for us.
Please.
I don't know how to play. And so we played in that campaign. I rolled up one of my favorite ever characters. Her name's Althea, half-elf ranger with a 20 dexterity and a 6 constitution.
Whoa,
Because I
okay.
made a choice.
Love that.
Oh,
Yeah, I went
wow.
dramatic off of that. I really set the stage with Althea. And I got knocked out a lot, but I also did the most damage.
Woo.
Of
But the
course.
campaign ended up falling apart, and just because he got really busy, couldn't write for it, understandable. And I ended up wanting to run a one-shot that I wrote while just like traveling around New Zealand, getting inspiration.
Oh, so cool.
And I ran the one-shot, then I ran another one-shot that was kind of pirate-themed, and then
Okay.
everybody went, "Hey, can you just run a pirate game?" To which I was like, "Okay, I'm running for a bunch of engineers who work for the Navy, and I don't know how boats work."
Yeah,
Sure.
that's off the deep end there.
Oh.
So I ran a pirate-themed campaign for 3 years, completely homebrewed it, and at one point they had the pirate ship got turned into a floating brewery. It's called Firefly Ale Works, and the tavern that we're building in the downstairs of our house has barrels that say Firefly Ale Works on them.
Oh,
That is
that's
awesome.
awesome.
That is so
Transcended my life.
cool.
Bravo, bravo. That's a fantastic story. And
So good.
you know, kicking off a pirate campaign with a bunch of folks with all kinds of nautical experience, and that's complex stuff. I mean, there is so much to that language.
D&D and boats don't go well.
Yeah, fair, well said.
Mm.
The mechanics don't line up. And then with engineers, they're like, "But the physics," and I'm like, "But the magic."
Exactly, the magic. So Kai Hawkeye said he had a character that had a 3 dex. Hawkeye, I'm not sure if you realize that means that you can't even roll out of bed. I mean, a 3 dex, you are basically immobile. But anyway, so. Well, excellent. That's a great story. And so, you know, I told you a little bit. I've been gaming for a long time. Robert started playing D&D about 6 months ago, and it's been a real change in his life. No, sorry.
Sure, John.
I was gonna say, there's no way.
My hair was a dark brown when I started working with John.
It's true. It's true. So I'm showing for the chat here, I'm showing pictures of some of
So
Ashlyn's work, and that's the logo for Dollar Store DM. You do resin dice. We're going to talk about that today as well. You know, check out like these hive. This is awesome. I love the hive. I want to talk about that. That actually,
That's so cool.
I've talked before on this. There it is, right there. I've talked before on our channel that, you know, sometimes as a DM, you can be inspired by anything, a book, a movie. I have run adventures just based on having a super cool mini that I wanted to use. And, you know, when I saw this, I thought, okay, I need to come up with an adventure that needs a hive that the adventurers are going through. That in and of itself would be inspiration for a great game.
That one was inspired by both the material that we found and a monster that was printed and painted by Iron Tusk Painting. Because I met Iron Tusk through, and he's the guy who does all the miniatures for Critical Role.
Ah, okay.
Oh,
So I've got some of his right here that he made for when he did some things for the Art of Adventure for me. So I've got some Iron Tusk minis over there. But he had done a Hive Hulk giant beetle thing that my friend Magebrush, who ran that session for the Hive and helped me make the Hive,
Okay.
he had it, and we were like, well, now we need to use it.
Yeah, for sure. And you did a fantastic job with it. And I definitely want to kind of talk about that. But then you also, you have a merch store. I popped that up a moment ago. You have, I love the cloud terrain that you created. So before we go into any of the specifics, tell us how you got into crafting to begin with.
So when we started off with me DMing, or really just the beginning of the campaigns, we would use bottle caps. Because we collect every bottle cap we have We stopped because we ran out of room. Wine corks and bottle caps. And I would just like write B with a dot next to it for like the bandit captain. This is actually how my dog got its name.
Okay.
He was because B dot bandit was became my Althea's favorite NPC. He has a name. I don't remember what the name is because I wasn't the DM, and I'm pretty sure the DM had to like make it up on the spot because we got just attached to this bandit guy, and my dog's name is, or the older of the dogs is named Bandit, and on his name tag it has a period in front of Bandit.
Good.
Okay.
That's cool.
I like that.
But from that, we then went. I got a grid. So then I started making little tokens that had. I would draw an image on it to represent each player, and then from there we got Hero Forge minis for the first time.
Yeah.
And I painted those up, and they are garbage paint jobs.
They are.
And I love them.
Oh, I thought you meant the Hero Forge. No, like I like Hero Forge paint job. They're simple, they're easy, they're quick, but they don't compare to like your professional mini painters and the people that we have in the community.
Oh no, I painted mine.
Yeah, I gathered what you meant after a moment. Yes.
I'm knocking my own painting.
Yeah.
Because this was before they offered painting service. And then from there, I started being like, okay, if we have minis, I need something for them to go on. So I started making, where did I put them? I made sure they were in arm's reach. Little like tiles and wood planks out of cart. Everything was just cardboard. And then it just escalated. More garbage getting turned into things. And then I started just getting a bit more advanced with it, trying out new things. And my buddy John had different John. There are many Johns in this world.
I've heard that.
A couple of times.
We have a John and a Jonathan in my home group.
Fun.
Wow.
Which is real fun.
Yeah.
But he had joked with me like, if you put these up on the internet and you like made this your thing, you'd be like a dollar store DM. And then it stuck. I made the account almost as a joke. Not really. It was beginning of COVID. I needed a hobby. And then it kind of evolved, and now I have a closet full of stuff. This was not here at the beginning. Well, I wasn't in this house at the beginning of COVID, but all this stuff was not here in 2020.
No, that's a fantastic story, and it's a great brand. So I've got a ton of questions around that, but let me go to Rachel or Rob. Any questions or thoughts you guys have on what we've discussed so far?
Rachel.
It's so cool. It's just so cool. The idea of just taking like, I'm gonna be DMing for some of my buddies soon, and I really wanted to have like little props and pieces that I can give them to like burn in game to give them like advantage or something on some rolls. But it's just really inspiring to hear how you've taken just like cardboard and other bits and pieces and have just used as much as you could out of it to make it what it is.
Gummy bears make really good inspiration tokens.
Gummy bears?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good idea.
I'm making notes.
Or gummy bears as enemies, and when you defeat them, you get to eat them.
Oh, that's actually incredible. Especially because one of my friends likes to put their dice in their mouth and roll it that way.
Oh.
It's bad. It's real bad. Every time.
Yeah, not invited to be on stream with me.
Yeah. No, I was like looking at the hive and I was like thinking, ooh, I can think of one shots for that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like it begs for that, doesn't it? So, the video is not frozen here. Is it frozen for anybody else? Pat Draws is saying his video is. Dark Elf Twilight said refresh. I think we're okay. I think it's on your end, Pat. Or you just troll. Pat's our resident troll. Yeah, it's Pat. He's our resident troll. He's probably hassling me. He's a good guy, very talented artist. So I've never really gotten very like crafty. Like I paint minis. I like painting minis, although I never have time for it. I have a lot of, as we say, plastic shame around me.
No, John. Mm-hmm. Amanda's going to yell at you. You do. There's not shame. It's potential.
Well.
Potential. You tell me.
Do not use the word shame.
All right, yeah. She put it in the chat. She said pile of potential. I have piles of potential, surrounding me here for sure.
Yeah, I've got my pile of potential keeps growing exponentially. It's just more keeps coming.
Potential.
Well, the gummy bear idea that got Jenny. She said, "I'm going to eat my enemy. I need gummy bears."
This is just a little bit of it.
That sounds very
successful. I've got more boxes.
Love it. So I've never really been a crafter at all. What about you, Robert or Rachel? Have you ever made terrain or crafted anything like that?
The last time I was even remotely crafty was back when I had blocks, and they weren't even Legos. They were just standard building blocks. And we made stuff with them for imagination purposes because we didn't have a heck of a lot. It was that and D&D. So, no, never. I mean, drawing, but that's about it, and was never really that good at it. So now it's painting and trying to paint and never getting around to it.
Gotcha. Well, I'm fortunate in that Jenny, my wife, she actually does do quite a bit of crafting. So I have some roads and various structures. She did some pretty cool stuff over there that I use. So I get a little bit of help on crafting, but definitely not something I'm skilled at. So how do you currently interact with your community? I know you have a Patreon, you've got a YouTube. Talk to us a little bit about how you get your content out, Instagram, and how you interact with folks that follow you.
Yeah, primarily I'm on Instagram. For a while I was doing Twitch. I ran a stream called The Art of Adventure where I brought creators from around the world to come play one-shots of D&D, and they would make all the terrains, mini, everything that we would need for the next group's DM. Due to when I moved, a lot of technology changed. My internet's not nearly as good as it was as our old house. So ended up moving away from Twitch, started doing pre-recorded streams. Episode 19 I'm currently editing because it recorded the Zoom call in speaker mode. So I lost my entire battle camp footage, and it is the coolest set.
No!
Any away, and I haven't been able to show any of it because I have to re-film the entirety of the battle scenes.
Oh, no, that's painful.
It really hurt. So we're going to take a break from AOA for a little while.
And I have your AOA page from your website up right now for everyone to see. You've got your YouTube link here, so if anyone wants to go back and look at those, you've got them all up on your YouTube, right?
Yeah, the ones that I remember to take off of Twitch.
Right, exactly.
I am not an organized woman.
Okay.
But a good chunk of them are on there, and all the ones that we did as pre-records where I'm the DM, and it was all locally done and recorded. Those ones are up all on YouTube.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, let's jump into just a couple of your crafting things, and really we can take this in any direction that you want. But I thought maybe a neat place to start would be that table, since that's something that kind of initially connected. And I think you said you had a few different stages of that handy, so.
Yeah, so what the table is, because when I was watching the stream, like, rounded bases and just flat top, that looks like a tea, because yours light up. I was like, okay, that looks like a tea light, just like a circle on top. So what I did is I took, so you can get these 2 packs from Dollar Tree.
Right.
Regular old tea lights, a little easier to see out of the packaging, but just regular little tea light. If you take pliers, you can take this plastic cover off, and it looks like that. And then I just spray painted this with really cheap spray paint. It's like the really crappy black enamel spray paint from Home Depot. And then I made a top. And the top is dollar store foam core, which looks like this. It's what they make those like poster boards out of that you can. We're good.
Right. No worries.
My setup is boxes on top of rolly chair, so we're working with it.
Absolutely.
I told her that's nothing different than what we would expect from the dollar store DM.
I am nothing if not on brand. So took this foam core, cut a wonky circle out of it, took a wire brush and made wood grain. So you just take the wire brush and go zoop, zoop, zoop like 4 times, and it makes wood grain. It's super quick. And took a pen and divoted in these planks, essentially. And then in the center, those are straws covered in hot glue. That's all it is. It's just some straws with hot glue. The center one fits on the thing. And then it lights up.
Incredible.
That's so cool.
And all in all, this took probably like 30 minutes, including dry time.
Wow.
And I have like 5 of them now.
And
The pack is
So
$1.25. You can get a giant foam. I'm still using the same foam core from when I bought it months ago, because I don't use it that much.
no, and what I love about that is, particularly when you're on stream, this is showing pretty well right now. You can see it a little bit, but on stream with the camera at certain angles, this does not show well. That is a much brighter looking candle. And also, the way that hot glue, it's just misshapen enough to look like wax coming down off a candle. It's very, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always
So
used
creative.
hot glue for my, there it is, my box of city bits. A student gave me cookies, and now I use it to house terrain.
So nice.
Yeah, I've always
That's cute.
used hot glue as candles. Nope, that's hot glue. It's just in crystal form.
Ah, okay. I think I have a picture of those right here. So these, that's how do you make those?
The kind of larger size version is easier to
Ah, okay. Yes.
quite literally hot glue and an X-Acto knife. And you just chisel away
Wow.
until you're left with a crystal. I use it all the time. I redid some zombie minis that I had painted to be kind of like underwater zombies for the pirate campaign and my current desert campaign, because I wanted to go as far away from the ocean as possible.
Fair.
Is all based on draconic magic, and that draconic magic housed in crystals called dragon shards. And so everything is just covered in these crystals. So I put a bunch of tiny little hot glue crystals on a bunch of zombies. And so I got to repurpose something. Yeah.
So
This is
cool.
also hot glue, but it's on a,
Like a candelabra. That is so cool.
yeah, it is a toothpick with some hot glue on top. That is a bead. The bottom are beads. That's it. Simple.
That is.
Stand great. It's a little wonky, but so am I. So
Wow, I mean that piece, that candelabra, I mean that looks like something you would buy from Dwarven Forge.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
they are just beads.
Did you spray
They're
paint them?
beads and hot glue. There might be like the inside of a Q-tip, like supporting where the hot glue is. I can't remember. I made these a while back. But
That is absolutely sick. So I want to hold that for just 1 second. So if you have questions for Ashlyn, go ahead and pop them in the chat. We'll probably do a couple of polls tonight as well. And then the question has come up about stream source, because we were talking about this earlier. And I actually do a native pull of 1080p because that's the most that Twitch can really do. But I push out upscaled. So technically this thing could do 4K if Twitch would let it. Robert said you're pulling 2160, but others are saying they're only getting 720. That's either got to be browser based or something else.
It might be the monitor size too.
Well, I mean, I think like some of them are on iPhones, and they, like an iPhone's going to be able to pull a 1080p like my son. So anyway, it's weird. Well, very cool. So Ashlyn, talk to us about some other projects. Like what kinds of other craft work? You've talked about the hives maybe, or show us the cloud, this cloud city, the sky, the paper mache rocks, any of that stuff.
yeah, paper, other than hot glue, paper mache is my other love. I have a friend, Epic Jim, has started calling me the hot glue queen. The amount that I use, to the point that I took it even further and made a crown out of tinfoil and hot glue. But
As one does.
Incredible.
Yeah, that's natural. Yeah.
But this is I about like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I hate using pink foam. I know so many craft people carve their foam and make really cool rocks. I just can't be bothered. It takes too long. I don't like it as a crafter. It's entirely a personal opinion. What I do for rocks is this is just tin foil suspended there. Like, this is hollow. This is entirely hollow. It is tin foil with some supports at certain points on top of some more foam core with more, with basically just a singular layer of really cheap napkin paper mache.
So like all in all, supply cost there is what?
Negligible. I've used the same pack of bamboo napkins that my mother-in-law gave me for some reason since 2020.
Bamboo napkins.
I think they're bamboo. I did not buy them. But they start like this. So there's tin foil under here. And it's just a singular layer of paper mache on top. It is very sturdy. This is hollow. And then you can spray paint it, which you can't do with foam. And I am impatient.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
that makes...
Just get spray painted black and dry brushed brown.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. And the texture is so much better than you get with foam, unless you really work on the texture of your foam. Yeah. I mean, that looks extremely realistic. And it's super light. It's probably pretty durable. You can drop it, you can toss it. It's not going to do anything.
This supports full minis. I used it for an AOA stream. Put that on top. I'm just going to grab the T-Rex because I think it's the heaviest thing that I have over there.
Chilling.
It did not move. It is sturdy.
Solid. And you need some heavy, but you do need some heavier minis.
Evidently.
I'll give you a suggestion here. But while I'm doing that, one of the questions in the chat was, would Mod Podge work for making those rocks?
Mod Podge would. Essentially, what I use for my mixture is it's a 50-50 mix of white glue and water. So I have a giant jug of white glue that I got for pretty cheap at, I think, Michael's, but you can really get it anywhere. Getting it in the big jug is cheaper than getting it in the small ones that I definitely didn't used to take from the supply closet at work.
I heard nothing.
What?
I heard nothing.
It's okay. This is not being streamed right now. No, no one else is watching. Just us.
And that's it. You just drizzle it on. The reason I don't like Mod Podge as much is it's really thick and viscous. It takes a really long time to dry. And this is so thin that I can just put a singular layer on top, brush it with a really, really crappy brush, and then I just shoot my hair dryer at it. Because again, I am impatient, and I have an inability to wait for things to dry. And yeah, that's it.
That is super cool. So you need a mini like this one, Ashlyn, to test and make sure it's going to support that weight. That would really be the test for it.
Yeah.
John just flexed on us.
I just flexed. That's right.
Yeah, all my minis are ones that I've printed on my printer, and again, I don't have the patience to print a multiple step mini.
Fair.
If it's not going in one print,
Well, see,
ADHD kicks in and I go somewhere else.
See, Rob, I flexed, but Ashlyn flexed harder. I showed the mini that I sacrificed part of my child's college education for, and she just told me all of her minis are 3D printed. So that's the harder flex.
Yeah, that's the non-dollar store part of my operation. Is I do own a resin printer. I don't print terrain. I have an FDM that it does not like me. It is old. It is my husband's because again, engineer. And I can't get it to work. I fought with it for like 2 hours, and then I was like, okay, fine. paper mache it is.
I love it. So, Josh, the question was that Tiamat pre-painted? Yes. So that's the Whiz Kids. Like, it's a gigantic mini. I think the thing probably weighs about 6-8 pounds. It's not only the biggest mini I have, it's the biggest mini I've ever seen. And it's pretty cool. And yeah, you being the kid in college, that's right. I would have been able to help you more, son, but the minis they called. So when you're doing that, talk about these clouds. So, that's obviously your paper mache. You're inverting it, and then you're using it. Look, this is basic cotton or what?
Yeah. So each of the clouds is different because, again, I'm just throwing things together and seeing what sticks. And also the weight on the bottom is coming out. I'm glad I noticed that before I flipped it upside down and sent it onto my work computer. So it is literally just cotton balls on top of whatever support I thought might work. This particular one has bits of egg carton and popsicle sticks. There's something in here that's making it hard that I don't remember what it was. Lots of hot glue, lots of just figuring out what's going to make it balance. So each of the floating islands then sits on here. And then I, courtesy of my dogs, have a whole bunch of fluff.
We have that all the time. We just throw it away. They take every toy you give them, they rip it apart, and then you have that fluff all over the floor.
You keep it.
Oh yeah, my dogs are experts. And they don't just like shred the toy. Like the younger one will go along the seam and like perfectly split it open.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But this is the best fluff. It looks like clouds. So I put it in between so you can't see the table.
And I think
awesome.
That's the part I was missing too. Looking at the pictures, you can't tell that those clouds are stiff. And that's important for the support of the structure. They still look like they're fluffy clouds, but they have some substance to them.
Yeah, they all are very supported underneath. And then I glued and apparently need to re-glue some kind of like crystal beads that I had lying around. I was like, I need something heavy so that when I put something up top here, especially on the sides, it doesn't flip the whole structure.
Gotcha. Okay, very cool. Well, let's move on to the cardboard hives. So I've already this is one that really caught my eye. So you've got, let me see if I can diagnose. So we've got, I'm assuming that's some sort of that same kind of paper mache effect that you're doing on the ground there. You've somehow created texture.
That was fully spray painted. This would have been a pain. This is half of it. This would have been a pain to paint by hand.
That's so big.
Oh yeah.
Here is the other half.
Oh
that is bigger. This thing is massive.
Wow. Oh, I love that. That is so good. So, and you said you would sell those, correct?
I have not.
I know you didn't say that, Ashlyn. I know I'm putting you on the spot. I'm teasing, but I mean, I would buy that in a heartbeat. That is awesome.
What did you make?
But what I do is I do have tutorials for the entire process up on my website because it was stupid easy to make. It looks complicated, but it's not. Next time you order something from IKEA, keep the thick cardboard because, okay, which one's going to be easier to show? This one. This is all just that thick cardboard. If you peel off one half of it, like the paper that's on top of it, it is a honeycomb structure inside. And it's flexible. So what we did is we took, again, this is styrofoam from the IKEA box that got cut into a shape that we hot glued the cardboard insert in there. It's bendy because of the honeycomb structure. And then the outside is a layer of tinfoil with paper mache on it.
Wow.
That's it.
What sounds stupid easy to you sounds like, to somebody as fumble-fingered as I am with crafting, that's still pretty impressive. Wow. So yes, that is an insect layer.
That's so cool.
Great. Hello, Dar Snow. Welcome. We've got several new chatters in here tonight as well. Thanks for joining us. If you missed the beginning, this is Ashlyn. She is the Dollar Store DM, a very talented creator, a gamer. We're going to talk a little bit about gaming experience, particularly as it relates to female gamers or gamer girls. And I think that's going to be a fun conversation, and probably will hopefully have another conversation about that. But she plays the game, and the reason I mention that now is I saw your reel where you've got that one where you pick up the axe at the end, but there's those quotes across the top that says, you don't really play, you're just acting like a nerd, and you don't know the game. And you definitely know the game. So talk to us about the next craft piece that you'd like to look at. You sent me this one. This looks like some kind of a carton turned upside down that's making sort of almost an Aztec structure to it.
So these have become so I'm running a desert campaign. I also genuinely don't like building city terrain. I don't measure things. Again, this is just, I'm following the dopamine. Hence I have a lot of paper mache rocks and nature things, and I don't have that much city. I did not make those. Those were made for me.
Okay.
So all of my cityscapes, because I'm running a desert campaign and I can do this, are legitimately just cardboard shipping inserts turned upside down. And it's become so much of a joke in my group that either when my husband orders something and it comes and it has like styrofoam or cardboard inserts, he's like, "Look, sweetie, I ordered you terrain." Or my players will just show up with, "Hey, look, I got terrain."
That's so nice.
But these are my favorite things in the world. There is a giant pile of them over there. Because everyone is different and they look like deserty buildings. I did not do anything to this. This is just a shipping insert. All I did to this is cut some holes out of it and make some tarps out of paper mache, because again, I'm predictable.
Incredible.
That is awesome. And you hit the right lighting on that, put a mini in front of it. I mean, that'll look awesome on camera.
Yeah, it is literally just some triangles and a line and some dots, with some really thrown together paper mache curtains and awnings with toothpicks and some holes cut out of it.
Yeah. So Kai Hawkeye said he sees it now. Order a computer, use the box, ignore the computer. No, sir, you've missed the game. The game is the husband buys whatever technology he wants and says, "I'm getting you terrain packing." And
it's usually card parts, so I get big terrain pieces.
Gotcha. Very cool. Questions, Rob, Rachel, on that, and in the chat, if you have any questions for Ashlyn or any parts of the terrain or types of terrain that you'd like to see, kind of how she did it, just pop those in the chat and let us know. Rob, go ahead.
I'm sitting here trying to figure out where I'm going to put all the crafting materials that I'm suddenly going to find myself buying. Because, I mean, come on.
You become a hoarder. And they all live in a corner, and you just pretend like it's not just a pile of garbage and you're not a raccoon.
I'm feeling attacked, and I haven't bought anything yet.
Oh no, I'm attacking myself. I call myself a raccoon.
So we'll come back to I want to come back to some of these craft items, but let's switch over to your website for just a moment here. Yeah. So here's your site, the Dollar Store DM, and it's just dollarsstoredm.weebly.com. .weebly.com.
And I have a free website.
Yeah, I saw that, and you actually have an advertisement on the website there because it's free, and that is on brand. So I'll pop your URL in there, and so people can go here. They've got the crafting made easy. Skill level doesn't matter. Now, come on, that's a lie, Ashlyn.
It does not. I'm not that skilled. I just I have my certain techniques that I do over and over again, and so at this point I can do it really quickly. But most of it is just throwing things together. Hence, cut holes in shipping container, paint some triangles. Or crumple some napkins and put some PVA glue on it. That's all this is. This is just napkin. it's also deadly hard because this is like when I was figuring out how to do these, and it is overbuilt. Nowadays, I would sculpt it out of just crumpled tin foil and then put one layer of napkin on top.
Oh, I see. Right, because obviously you can't spray paint the tin foil, so you structure it with the tin foil to give you the structure, and then the napkin over the top to hold the paint and give it some texture.
Really easy to work with because you just squish it and then it bends.
Yeah.
I like it. So on your site then, if I go to, for example, crafting tutorials, I can see each of the different elements here that we've talked about: the hot glue crystals, slime fighting ring, that's pretty cool, quick and easy air elemental, bottle cap tokens, packing material hive. So if I drill into any of these.
The air elemental is one of my favorite things.
It's my favorite.
Dirty. He is right here. This is literally just a cotton ball with some hairspray. I really didn't think he was gonna last. He is now like 3 years old.
I love him.
Oh, he looks even better. He even looks better than he does on the website. That is so cool.
That's so cool.
I was running a session that day and I needed something fast. I didn't own any air elemental minis, so I went cotton ball, hairspray, and I really did think he was just gonna last that day, and now he's like my favorite thing.
So good.
No, he is really cool. But the problem is, that is cute. That is so cute, you don't want to kill it.
Oh, he's so adorable.
Yeah, like you wouldn't want to kill that air elemental.
I don't want to kill him.
And then also on your site, you've got the shop. So you do have lots of merch on your store. Talk to us about the merch and hobby wear and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so it's divided in 2 sections. Merch is more towards Art of Adventure stream, so it's a lot of things with the AOA logo on it, both black and white and in color. And then the hobby wear is like, this is my painting shirt that I'm currently wearing. I have a bunch of things with what I call my like Traveler's D20 design. That's a blue or orange D20 with kind of silhouetted adventures on a mountainside.
And that's the same one. That's the same one you're wearing in this picture that you sent me. That's your dollar store DM logo, correct? Well, no, that doesn't have the dollars.
Actually, not. It's just my favorite color, so that's why.
Oh, okay.
That color scheme.
Gotcha. And then we also. Go ahead.
Yeah, they're all designs that I've made myself, and then just threw onto some shirts and things and put it up on the website because Printful will let me do that.
I love the 0 days since last glue burn. I can see I'm going to end up needing that one.
Yeah, or there's drinking the paint water was another one.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Very careful about that.
Very careful.
I have almost done that a number of times, and I don't usually I usually have like a pint glass and my little plastic paint water cup that's I found 3 years ago in a cabinet and it's disgusting.
It's just been
the same cup.
ever since.
It's crusty. I need a new cup. But I definitely have almost drank the paint water a number of times.
Well, we're all using water-based paints, right? So it shouldn't be too bad. No?
Yes, but I do have some enamel ones.
Okay, so then talk to me about this. I thought this was cool. Budget building battles. Now, this looks like it's been a while.
It has, but it's coming back.
Okay, so talk to us about that.
This is actually going to be kind of the announcement for the fact that that's coming back.
Okay.
So AOA is taking a break just for partly my own mental health and because I'm going to be starting running a podcast called Roleplay Inc., where I'm going to be the game master for that. So it was just between my home group, that, and other things that I'm doing. It was just too much me writing adventures.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to do an adventure over here, and I'm going to take the budget build battles and bring them back, and we're actually going to amp it up a bit. So how it started, this is kind of early days. This is 2020 Dollar Store DM. I found some other people who did similar things to me. I was like, hey, you want to just like challenge each other? And yet we would pick a theme and a material. You could only use that material plus glue and paint. I think we're like, you could you can attach it together and you can make it colorful. But you had to stick within the theme and the material. You had to make something. So one of them was, and this is my favorite, I think it's still my favorite thing I've ever made. It was popsicle sticks and forests, or like wood and forest. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I made a tree out of entirely popsicle sticks.
I have that picture.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because my lighting is garbage. This thing is made entirely out of popsicle stick.
Wow.
This was
Wow.
a pain in the ass.
So how do you do the leaves?
That's the one that you have to build thing on the site. And, yeah.
It was a pain because what I would do is I would take popsicle sticks and I would take an X-Acto knife and I would just shave off tiny bits. Eventually I took like a file to the thing and then I watered down some green paint and soaked them all of this wood shaving in green paint, dried it out, and then used it as flocking.
Wow.
This was a labor of love. Everything on there, with the exception of the hot glue mushrooms and the hot glue bird egg, are made of popsicle sticks.
Wow.
I love the bird egg.
Incredible.
Nice touch. That is so cool. So I mean, yeah, but I mean that shaving popsicle sticks to get those leaves. I mean, how much time is that for you?
Oh, it was a pain. I do not recommend doing it unless you want to challenge yourself. The tutorial is on the website. This is not a recommended craft unless you are like just
Desperate.
Yeah, and with the tutorial, you need like a liability waiver for whatever objects are going to get thrown and broken in the process of trying to make that.
You might be a masochist if you try it.
Yeah, I think so.
Highly, I recommend eating the popsicles first to get your sticks, so that you're at least, if nothing else if everything goes wrong, at least you've had a popsicle or two.
That is true.
Smart. That's smart.
That's good point. So we talked a little bit about the build battles a moment ago. So we're going to have at least one. So you're going to see a little bit more of Ashlyn here on Blue Box. She is going to probably jump in some one-shots with us, one of which I've already talked to her about is our upcoming St. Jude charity stream that we're doing for St. Jude Children's Hospital. And we're actually doing 3 streams now for this here on Blue Box. Last year we only did 2. We'll do our Friday night stream, which is the sort of prime time. We're going to be joined by luminary Richard Baker. We've got 2 other legends of these are like legends of D&D that may be with us that night. And then I'd like to supplement with a couple of folks. And then we've got a Saturday game that we'll be running. And then on Sunday, Rachel, Tears of Aird will run, and we will run our game in-house. So, Ashlyn, like I mentioned to you, my Tuesday game, and there's like this one, it's all remote, but my Sunday game is everybody here in the room. So Rachel will be streaming our normal Tears of Aird game during the St. Jude charity stream, and all the proceeds from that also will go to St. Jude. So for all you Mad Chatters, thanks so much for joining us. We've got a great crowd with us tonight. In just a moment, we're going to ask a question, Ashlyn, and we're going to baptize you in the Blue Box way. But
Wonderful.
you know what we're doing?
Yeah.
Okay, you've seen it. Good. See, traveling. See, it's catching on, Robert. It's catching on. So she'll be with us for one of those streams. But then we're going to have Ashlyn come back. She and I talked about this week. We would like to do our own sort of Blue Box twist on a build battle. And so we'll have another LMA stream where we'll have a few of the folks on. We'll maybe have more people here on the Zoom chat. But more importantly, we're going to post the craft items that you will need a few days in advance. So we'll put it up in our Discord. We'll put it on our Instagram. She can put it on her Instagram. And it'll be, make sure you have, just as an example, paper mache and a spray can or this or that or glue or whatever it's going to be. And you'll have a few days to gather those items. Then when we run LMA, we're going to do a live build together where Ashlyn guides us through how to build whatever this item is. And we'll have a Discord channel set up where you can post pictures of your creations. At the conclusion of the stream, we'll show some of the art and we'll do some giveaways live on stream around the art that's created during that. So I think that'll be a blast. Don't you, Ashlyn?
It'd be so much fun. I'm so excited.
Such a good idea.
Don't forget to tell her a lot of PCs die. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Jeff, that is correct. So I have this really unfair reputation, Ashlyn. I don't know where this came from. That my games are dangerous. I think I tell people when they join that we're not playing My Little Pony. That we are in fact playing a game in which you're trying to be a high stakes adventurer slaying nefarious enemies up to and including dragons. Someone might assume there would be danger associated with that, but somehow some people will get surprised.
See, I play in a little 28-year-old game called Evermore. With Got DM, I am used to high stakes. That is a normal state of being. Bring it.
We finally got John to stop talking about killing the players.
I still make that. I did it last night. I talked about killing Josh last night. I did.
He did. I was there for it.
Manda, can you?
That's understandable.
It was wild.
Manda, can you put up a poll in chat? How many folks would be interested and able to participate in a challenge like that? I'd like to get kind of a count of how many folks think they'd like to do some online crafting with us in an LMA. And then another one I haven't talked to Ashlyn about, but we're going to use this for a segue into another conversation I wanted to have. And then I want to come back to, still want to talk about resin dice, because I know those are, you do sell the resin dice sometimes too, is that correct?
Yeah, when I get around to making them.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. But I was really interested when I saw your Instagram and you had that one video I mentioned to you earlier where it's sort of this biases that female gamers face in D&D, and you've got these quotes that are popping up to the side that say things like, you don't really know how to play the game. You're just doing this to impress the guys. You should be acting like a girl, whatever those things might be. And I figured that was not coming from a complete place of, just randomness. And, I don't want to go too deep into this. I'm on to something there. I don't want to go too deeply into that tonight, really because I want to have a whole separate LMA on this topic. I was talking to Manda about this yesterday, and I mentioned this to her, and she said, John, you should do a whole LMA on that. And she's mentioned several other lady gamers that we could get on. And so I'm hoping here in the next 30, 60 days, I want to have an LMA, something to the effect of like Trials and Tribulations of Girl Gamers or something like that, where we just have a chat and an educational opportunity for everyone. And I'm really going to lean on all the panelists to help me with the questions and what we talk about, because I'm not going to be doing any mansplaining that night for sure. So with that as kind of a backdrop, talk to us just high level, like maybe a couple of anecdotes, or what kinds of things have you seen as a girl gamer that you faced in D&D?
Yeah, luckily, a lot of my experience with D&D is my own home group, where they were my friends to begin with. If they're being shitty people,
right,
they shouldn't be in the group. So luckily, in terms of my own playing D&D in real life, I haven't had to experience a lot of that. But I was discouraged from playing it when growing up, being a girl. Like, in the same way that I was a STEM major, I took the bio track, so there were more girls. But if you look at like engineering and all of that, same sort of story, where it's pushed more towards guys. It's not all. In some instances, girls are directly like pushed away from it. Like that's not feminine. That's for guys. It's starting to. It is starting to shift. We're seeing less of that, at least where I am. Granted, I live in California.
Right.
So my experience, and I've lived in California my whole life.
No, we're really looking for experiences here for those that live in the United States, Ashlyn. So I don't know if you're going to be able to really comment on that living in California, but
I mean, fair. Once I got onto the online community, I've stayed for the most part in spaces that have a lot of prominent women. and unfortunately I've seen a lot of the people that I look up to get harassed. Because when I started, obviously I was just starting, I was basically a nobody. No one really paid attention to me, so no one harassed me. And I had friends who had bigger platforms who would get these sort of comments. Every comment I wrote on that story is something I took off of someone's comment section.
Oh wow, really? So those are not just random. Those are
real quotes. I did not make them up. Those are things that people say to women, both other women and men. And that's
still see it on Twitter.
Yeah. Luckily, a lot of the Instagram community is a lot more supportive, especially within the D&D crafting community, which I'm very, very lucky to be a part of, and most of my online experience is through that. But when I've gone in for YouTube or for Twitch, I've been harassed on a Twitch stream. That one was fun. I have great mods who dealt with it, so I didn't have to. And just, I lasted on Reddit for like a day. Like, here's some terrain. And now here comes all the things.
Reddit is a cesspool at times.
Yeah.
I downloaded the Reddit app for like 5 minutes, and I tried to follow a couple of threads of things I was interested in, and you immediately go straight down the toilet in that. It's incredible.
Yeah, I have Reddit. I am very selective of what I read and what I consume, and I don't post my stuff really on Reddit. Because of that, I had to keep policing it. And I was like, this is not a community that I'm going back to Instagram. My friends are nice.
Yes, exactly. Well, I want to explore that a little bit further because the chat's really commenting on this. But let's go ahead and ask the question. We have a lot of folks that are joining us tonight, maybe some folks that are part of Ashlyn's normal community. For our community, if you've not been exposed to her, this is the Dollar Store DM. We put her website up earlier, but we're going to show you her Patreon in just a moment and other ways that you can support and use the products and the data, the information that she's putting out in her guides. But if you're watching tonight and you're not a follower of our channel, or if you're a follower of our channel, but you have not yet subscribed, or if you're a sub and your sub has expired and you have not resubbed, say it's not so. Or if you're watching this and you're missing the glory that lives in our Discord, we have one question for you tonight. What are you doing? Come on, give us a follow, give us a sub. We appreciate it. We had a fantastic night. We had over 20 or right at 20 new followers from one Twitch stream. That's a pretty high number for a non-special stream, and we're gonna definitely hit over our 2250 goal by the end of the. I use that phrase during traffic. That's a really good use for it. What are you doing? Yeah, next time you're having road rage, just remember Blue Box and you'll calm down a bit. So. Back to this idea of what happens to female gamers. There was a lot of reaction in the chat. Reddit's full of it. You see it big time in the Warhammer community on Instagram. That's interesting. So has anyone else experienced that? Rachel, you're nodding. Have you seen any of this or ever been exposed to it?
I have definitely experienced a lot of bias because of my being a woman, especially online. I've been online playing video games since I was far too young than I should have been. And there are just some very unkind and unfriendly people out there that really genuinely believe that women don't belong in video games and go as far as to throw the game in order to get myself killed and themselves killed, and it's a whole. Oh
wait. So if you're playing some sort of online game, you're in Call of Duty, you're on a squad, and they find out that they have a girl gamer, and they will actually throw the squad
grenades.
And
Yes.
What?
They will throw grenades. They will just try to make noise. They'll try to get you into a corner and get you stuck there, so you can't do anything.
Yeah,
and
it's male streamers have gone and used like female voice filters, and they'll switch it halfway through.
Oh, and so you sort of A/B testing to see the reactions they get.
You can see the immediate shift.
It's
bad.
It's bad at times. It can be very bad at times. And very disheartening as well.
I know this is hurts my heart to hear. Like, why? I mean, like, look, honestly, I remember. I'm assuming that most of these are like, 13 to 15-year-old kids that are.
No,
John.
Men,
I
adults.
I used to run a World of Warcraft guild, and we had a lot of females in our guild, and we were a raiding guild, so we had. If you were playing with us, you could play, and the stories that we would hear just, we became a good place for people to pop in because they knew they didn't have to deal with that, and anyone who decided to act that way was dealt with harshly. But yeah, no, and that was 10 years ago. It's heartbreaking.
Well, I could see that, like, I'm not naive. I could see that, like, the grognard thing, like Mike, Necromantic DM, that's Amanda's husband, for those of you that don't know, big contributor to our community. He said he had to throw a 50-year-old out of his game at one point, and I could see that in a tabletop game. But am I wrong in guessing that, like, if you're online gaming, Fortnite, Call of Duty, someone that's acting like that is probably a teenager, right?
No, not at all.
There are some, to be fair. I have definitely met some that are younger.
The teenagers are trying to fit in.
Yes.
That's really what it is. So the teenagers, as someone who used to teach them, the teenagers are doing it because they're trying to fit in, not because it's actually deeply rooted into their personalities. By the time you are an adult doing that has become part of you.
Yeah.
Like, you are not doing it because you want to make your friends laugh. And it's not a good thing for the teenagers to be doing.
Right.
And
no, I'm not defending that it's okay if they yeah.
Who stand up to their friends and tell them, like, hey, dude, stop. I have seen them. I have taught them. I love those ones.
Mm-hmm.
It's the other reason I was saying that, because I remember being, look, when I was 13 to 15, we would have killed to have girls play with us. I mean, like, they were like these rare creatures that we could never get them to. I mean, it just, I don't know, it's a foreign concept to me. So Red Monk said, I hate it when I get hit with the, you're not really into this game. Explain X obscure rule to prove that you're genuine. Are we hitting a nerve?
So
many nerves.
So many things. That's the thing that if you have a bad friendly local gaming store and you have just that awful person that hangs out there and is like, oh honey, you're looking at like the DM's guide, oh honey, like that's gonna be a little complicated for you, and then points you towards like all the cozy games, which nothing against cozy gaming. I have been playing so much Stardew Valley. Or you're here because you're gonna be the healer, right?
I
could see that for sure. I could see that for sure.
That was a big World of Warcraft thing. It was, it was like we had, and to be fair, we had a lot of female healers, and it got to a point where we weren't sure whether it was because that's what they wanted to do or that's what they'd always been told.
That was our role.
Yeah. I mean, they were good at, they were good at what they did, but it's like, do you want to play something else? You're allowed to play something else.
I genuinely, I like playing a healer. Mm-hmm. That's just the role that I like, but I also know that I like it because I think clerics are the best class in D&D.
That's what's up. That's what's up right there.
I think so. This is a translation issue. As you heard earlier, she lives in California. What she means when she says cleric is paladin. There's a close similarity there. She intended to say that.
I do like paladin. I like a paladin rogue multi-class. I can do major damage as a paladin rogue.
Paladin rogue?
Okay. All right.
Oh my god.
Here's my paladin rogue. Here's my paladin rogue.
Incredible.
All right, yes, and this show, so Amanda mentioned earlier that she was shocked when she found this community how inclusive we are, and just to demonstrate how inclusive we are still going to welcome Ashlyn back, despite the fact that on her first stream with me, she has showed dinosaurs and talked about paladin rogues, and I still am going to let her come back.
It does not need to be good.
Okay, so let me see here. I missed some stuff in chat. Boba Kiln, earlier you said you're literally raiding right now. I'm not sure if that was a typo. You left multiple guilds because of nonsense like that. Yeah, I can see that. Mike said he had 4 players driven out. Greg, you said some of the most fun you had playing was with that one shot with Cameron. I know Cameron is awesome.
Cameron is so amazing.
Honestly, I prefer female gamers. Sorry, guys. Okay, all right.
It was requested.
No, was it? I'm not surprised. They set me up like this all the time.
Oh,
The druid wild shaped or polymorphed into a T-Rex once.
That's what it's about.
Gotcha. So I I have to set the record straight here. I love dinosaurs. I just don't love them in my D&D. That's my thing.
Fine.
Yeah, it's just a preference thing.
Your choice.
All right, so let me see here. You and Amanda met playing World of Warcraft. I don't think I knew that.
That's so cute.
That is cool. But you do get the sometimes, you're out here playing because your husband or boyfriend is playing, right?
Or
I
you
could
go to a
see.
gaming store and it's are you looking for your boyfriend? Like something for your boyfriend.
Yeah, exactly. And then let's see here. What else do we have in the chat? You have 3 women in your group, Pat, and they're very good role players, better than the guys. I find that is generally true. I don't like making overgeneralization of things. There are some excellent male role players, but yeah, thank you, Jay. We'll be raiding into you in here in just a few minutes. How can you leave them out? They're literally part of the name, D&D, Dungeons and Dinosaurs. You lie, Steve. You lie like a rug. I invite trolls here. That's just part of it. They like to harass me.
To pester.
Manda,
I'd like to punch holes in the idea that John is in charge of anything.
Well, see, that's Rob. That's how you know you are in charge, when you're not threatened by people that are ever mistaken. Manda tabled a guy that thought that in 40K and he quit.
Yes, Manda.
I love it. Okay, so any other closing thoughts on that? I think this is going to be a rich topic. Alex, ban. I do not allow that kind of stuff in my chat. You know that. That kind of language is impermissible. Saying that Rob is always right, sir, the correct. John is. Where is Red Hulk when I need him?
Moose has you.
Oh, Moose, thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. That's my guy. Manda is always right. Now that we can all agree on.
That is.
That we can always. Which John? Sorry, I have to. What's that? You have that? Oh, yeah, yes. Put that on your non-acceptance list. That should be an auto ban. Rob is always right. That should be added to our auto ban list. Okay, so
Autobahn, fast lane, go.
Autobahn. Hey, that was actually good, Rob. That was clever. Bravo.
You sound so surprised.
Because I am.
John's just taking a beating so often, he doesn't know where he's coming from.
The guest is always right. That is true, Pat. There you go, Tracy. Jenny is always right. Yes, that is also true. All right. So any other thoughts on this before we move back to a couple more questions on crafting? And then I want you to kind of talk us through your Patreon and whatnot as we wrap up tonight.
Not particularly, because we're gonna have a whole long conversation.
Love it.
Yeah, don't suck. And if you see other people that suck, help them out. And call them out. Tell them that they suck, and then go help the person that they were being sucky to.
I think
don't sit and watch it. Say something.
I think that's a good.
Maybe the woman feels unsafe.
Yeah, and the reality is, like, we should want to grow these communities. We should want to expand them. The more people that spend money and participate in something, the more of that thing gets created. You look at what 5e has done for D&D. There's a lot about the 5e structure that I don't agree with. I actually borrow elements from 5e into my game. I love disadvantage. I love advantage. I'll use inspiration. Was inspiration in 4e? I don't know if that came out in 4e or if it was a 5e first time.
I don't actually know.
I don't remember.
I'll look it up.
So for some reason, I'm thinking it was. But either way, I like those elements. I use them. But there are some structural things about 5e. I call it sort of nerfed D&D. But with that said, you think about how many people it's brought into the community, how much it's grown. You grew up, for me, gaming in the early 80s, as a kid, you could not imagine the number of minis, terrain, books, supplements. Like, it's incredible how much, this little thing that Gygax and Arneson started in the 70s has blossomed into this $1 billion+ industry. And we're all the beneficiaries of that. We all get more cool stuff, more maps, more modules, more minis, more terrain. And why would you want to exclude people from that actually make the game better? It's just it's nonsensical. Aside from being unethical, it's not practical.
Yeah. But you can't logic people out of a position they didn't logic themselves into.
Yeah.
That is exactly correct. Robert, why didn't you say that? That was good.
Because I let the guest speak, John.
Okay, all right, so I'm looking at the chat here. Agree, don't understand the gatekeeping. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's a 5e thing. Is it really? Yeah, okay.
It is.
Okay.
I didn't want to interrupt, but I Googled it. So if Google's right, hopefully.
Got it. I wasn't sure, but that makes sense. Robert wants you to have a chance to be right, too. And then... Okay, all right. So let's close up with just a couple more thoughts on crafting. Anything else that you want to show us that you've done? Maybe ideas for crafting or inspiration for people that just think this is not easy and you're making it sound easier than it is.
Everybody starts somewhere. Like, legitimately, my first thing that I ever made was I took some cardboard and cut some squares in it and took the back of a paintbrush and went to widen the squares. Let's not step on the terrain, Ashlyn. It's literally it's an Amazon box with some
That's so cool.
lines in it.
Oh, wow, look at that. And that's super, like that kind of stuff you need all the time when you're playing on a table. That's super useful.
So start here. If you are afraid of if you're like following a bunch of really amazing crafters, like I look at Art Minis and I'm like, can't, nope, no idea how you do that. Look at those beautiful buildings that you're making. I don't make buildings. I don't know how. I don't use pink foam. I use cardboard because this is what works for me. Everybody's going to have their own style, and everybody's going to find things that work for them. I like to just walk around my Dollar Tree and look at toys and bits and be like, what could that be? Where I ended up with, I have my whole, the forest set that has been in a few of the pictures down there. It's just right here. All it is a sponge pad. It is a green sponge pad that I dry brushed some lighter green on and hot glued some rocks to. Like, there are so many things that it looks really impressive. It looks so fancy.
It does. Yeah.
It's literally just, I have a pile of them here for when I need to put things on the table and the rocks get in the way.
Wow.
I got a few packs of them at Dollar Tree. And now I have a modular forest. Like, there are so many things that you can find really easy crafts to get you started to help build up some of those skills. And then you just kind of work from there. And there isn't a right or wrong way to do it. Same thing with painting. There's no wrong way to put paint on a mini. Are you having fun? Is there paint on the mini? You're doing it right.
You're doing it right.
Are you painting your wall instead? Probably painting the mini. As long as you're putting paint on the plastic that you're intending to put paint onto, you're doing fine. And that's what you have to keep reminding yourself. I very much sucked to start, and that's okay. I was just making things because I wanted to make things, and it was fun. And that's really where it boils down to. If you are building it with the mindset of, I'm here to have fun, I'm here to be creative, all you need. I get inspired by my players and the stories that they're going through, and really just a sense of need. Like, oh, I need to have a tower. I found some styrofoamy brick things, and on a stream with Crazy Crafting Guild, I made a tower because I needed one. Trying not to knock everything over as I pull it out. but it's literally just little styrofoam blocks that I formed into a circle with some foam, and that's it.
That looks really good.
Incredible.
Yeah. So you've shown a lot of this desert terrain. Are you familiar with the world of Dark Sun, Ashlyn?
I am not.
So this started back in second edition. They did do a reboot of it for 4E. They haven't released it yet for 5E. They may for 1D&D. I don't know. But this was a really alternative setting that was based. It's all desert based, and it's a post-apocalyptic. Imagine like Fallout, nuclear war, except it's arcane. So it's in a fantasy world where wizards and sorcery have decimated the environment and created this entire and you've got like highly customized races. What's that?
That's my homebrew.
Oh, there you go. Exactly. So
I am cursed. I wrote an entire pirate campaign, homebrewed it all. About 2/3 of the way through, Salt Marsh comes out. I spent 9 months doing my high magitech, low magic, post sorcerers going crazy and magic disappearing, all of that desert campaign. About a year into that ish, Eberron comes out. I am cursed. So if I continue doing Damara, I guarantee that is going to be the next one that comes out, because that's just how it works.
Just your luck.
Makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah, Steve, I said 2E and 4E. Did I say something different? I'm pretty sure I meant to say 2E and 4E, because I know Richard.
You did say 2E and 4E.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Steve heard something different. In any case, yeah, you can check it out. You can get there's a lot of that information online. You could probably plug in races and monsters and stuff into your homebrew that would fit in really well from that game. And I will never let it go, Pat. So the picture you're seeing now, this is actually made by a member of our community. So this is not Ashlyn's. I was instructed that this is referred to as trash terrain, which is not a term I had heard before, but it makes sense. Rachel, can you guess who made this?
Oh, I love the use of the corrugated.
I know that Manda's very, very, very...
You nailed it. This is Manda's. This is Manda, Mystical Unicorn. So can you tell what she used there for the dice tower, Rachel?
It looks like a Pringles can.
It is a Pringles can. That's exactly right.
As she should.
And then we have here some corrugated. This is just cardboard, but it's painted to look like steel, right?
So cool.
Yeah,
and it looks like
that's the inside of cardboard, because if you peel it, it looks like corrugated metal.
Does it say wah or wah?
Or does it say wash? No, wah. Yeah, wah. It is wah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, very, very cool, Amanda. So, wah. Amanda is cool. That's right, Mikey. All right. So, as we close tonight, let's come back to your site, and I want to show. So, first of all, you do have your YouTube channel here. So you've got all your videos, that we can see. You have playlists set up. You said you're not the most organized, but it's reasonably organized. And then if you go to About on the, thank you, Dar Snow. We appreciate the sub, actually gifted by Robert. Thank you, Robert.
Yay!
I tease Robert as the ever mistaken, Ashlyn, but he's also the ever generous. We have here links to her Instagram, her website, her Patreon, her coffee. Let's go to your Patreon here real quick.
There's not much on that.
Okay, so
updated it in so long.
Okay, then would you like us to look at your coffee or just stick with your website?
Website has the most updated stuff.
Okay.
I have posted a few things on the Patreon, but at this point, I want everybody to have access to everything.
Okay.
So I've started putting a lot more on the website. So the Patreon is there's the mechanical side of the website.
Got it. Excellent. And then if we want to, if you go to the merch store, we didn't really talk about dice. Talk to us about your resin dice. And then what you have available. You've got a commission slot here on your site. How does all that work?
I do. Right now, I don't. Do I have any sets that I still need to? I don't.
You don't.
I have any.
It doesn't look like.
I have one set. It's not up there, but I think I have one that's in my to sell pile.
Okay.
But I make pretty dice. These ones are actually. This was made using the molds that I got my pressure pot for my good friend Weston, Arcane Anthems. and he used to make some dice just for fun, stopped doing it. He gave me his old molds, which he made himself, and of his own admission are not the best. But they made for really pretty jewelry for me when I was trying out epoxy resin for the first time. I've since gotten my own molds. And so the dice that are on the screen right now were a commission that I made for my friend Thomas. And they were based on his character that I played with in Evermore. His character and my character had like a beautiful romance arc. It was, when they died, we were both devastated.
They died? Oh no!
Oh, I am 2 out of 3 of my PCs have died in Evermore in dramatic ways from the same person, the mother of the first PC. It's dramatic.
Incredible, I think. I hope that's incredible. It sounds like it's really cool.
It is. It's amazing. But I really like doing dice based on characters. So I've made a few for all of my characters. I mostly roll my own dice when I am DMing or playing. I recently did sell recently, it's been a few months. One of my friends took all of my dice to a Ren fair and sold all of them, which is why I have none right now.
Wow.
I have not gotten back into making them since. I need to clean my polisher. Something went wrong in there.
So, I mean, how long does it take to make a set like that?
It depends on the equipment you have. So I started off doing UV resin with really, really awful molds. VV actually has one of the first dice that's ever made. Yeah, they're gelatinous, maybe not gelatinous cube themed. I don't remember exactly.
Okay.
But they're green. Green and sparkly.
Love it.
And I would just pour the UV resin in there and I would cure it. It worked okay. I've definitely had some that didn't cure all the way and then exploded later, and I got resin everywhere. That was fun. Forbidden gushers. And then once I got a pressure pot, I started using epoxy resin. So epoxy resin, you mix. I'm gonna put this down. I'll put it back on. Hit myself.
Talking with the hands, just slinging it around.
I talk with my hands so much.
It helps to get your thoughts organized and get through it.
So epoxy resin, mine is just 1-to-1 ratio. Mix it together for like 3 minutes. And then you can mix in whatever you want, and more complicated pours will be done over different sections. So if you are, let's say you have a little like resin inclusion. I saw really, really cool Star Wars dice the other day that the first layer was black with sparkles to look like stars. And then they put tiny little like ships. So you have the Millennium Falcon, you have Slave One, you've got Death Star on top of that resin, and then filled the rest of it with clear. So that pour would have taken probably, if they were using the same resin I do, each cure takes 24 hours.
24 hours to cure.
24 hours for the clear. So that would be 48 hours just in terms of casting the dice. If you are hand polishing them, that means that you are every single face that you needed to sand. If it had any sort of imperfection or a line, or you're just really meticulous, or your molds suck. I was the first one, or the last one. My molds were awful. They made a little divot in the center, so I had to sand every single side, and then had to polish every single side, which is going through multiple layers of Zona paper. It is a pain. I don't do that anymore. I have a vibratory tumbler that does it for me.
Oh, yeah. So just the friction.
Yeah, it vibrates. It's filled with little like ceramic beads. It's very loud and obnoxious. It lives in this closet, inside the closet, inside the closet.
Incredible.
So there's a cabinet with the tumbler in it that's in this closet, that's in my workshop, that is in the basement, that is made of concrete.
I love it. So cool.
Wow.
Well, Ashlyn, as we wrap up here, any questions that you have for us, questions about Blue Box, the community, anything you'd like to ask Rachel, Rob, or I before we wrap up?
What is your favorite D&D story, whether it's a DM or as a PC?
Favorite D&D story? Oh, golly. I think it probably goes to some of the more, whatever story I finished last, because when it comes to like the stories that we tell, I was just talking to someone, one of my players, well, actually, it's Vivi. And Vivi and I were talking about how she has been in so many games or campaigns that never finished. That they arc up and they get broad and then they bleed out and they die. So I think part of my answer is my favorite stories are the ones that finish. And I am super proud of the fact that we have completed, multiple 3, 4, 5-year campaigns, some that started before we started streaming. We completed 2 3-year campaigns here on Blue Box just this last year. And hey, thank you very much, Thomas. Good to see you, my friend Thomas there in the chat. But the things that inspire me, I find inspiration everywhere. Some of the books that I've read, I always talk about, just a few stories that are fantastic. Scott Lynch, the Gentleman Bastard series, if you haven't read that, especially if you're into thieves stuff, that's super cool. Anything by Joe Abercrombie, First Law, Joe Abercrombie stuff. The Bloody Nine is one of the best characters anywhere in fantasy fiction. If you're up for a long slog, The Wheel of Time, all that's a long one. I've read that. And then my favorite PC, this guy has been my alter ego since I was like 13 years old, Mandaralin Dembarin. He is a paladin of Tyr from the Forgotten Realms, and he's kind of that superhero to a 10-year-old kid that I still keep around. What about you?
Rachel, why don't you go next?
My favorite story that came to mind immediately was, at least the time that I felt the coolest. We were with my college buddies. We were in also a desert campaign called Drior that one of my college buddies had spent like a year plus making, and we're all going to be creating our own campaigns within the same world, just on different continents. So we're in the middle of doing that now. But in this campaign that we've already finished, there was this god of sorts that had raised this undead army and was going towards the body of a dead ancient dragon to resurrect that as well. And we didn't want that to happen. So I got to act as a living bomb because I was a cleric and had turn undead at that level. I was a trickery cleric, so I invisibled myself. And it was a whole slew. I had written it down. I used Pass Without a Trace. My friend cast invisibility on me. I went in, snuck to the middle of it, and blew myself up. He made one saving throw for like the hundreds of undead, and he failed it. So they all blew up around me, and it was really cool.
So cool.
It was
That's
so
awesome.
Cool.
That's awesome. Rob?
I get excited every time I think about it.
So I've got 3 quick stories, and they're all from the DM side of the table. The first one is, I'm going to go backwards, because the first one is my Friday Night Crusades group, because this was supposed to be a very, very casual game, and it is a very casual game, but there's a heck of a lot more role-playing than I ever thought there was going to be. So I was like, all right, well, okay, I guess we're not just rolling, just going out and, killing and taking treasure and whatever. Great, awesome. This group pulled Manda, kicking and screaming, into the game. She, it's a little bit of irony in the fact that we talk about, and it happens all the time as far as girls not, and women being pushed away from the game. They literally let me change the rules so that she would be able to play the character that she wanted to play. She's got a one-off character that is different. She's playing a pixie in the game, and but no, you can ask her. They drag week after week. They ask, what do we need to do to get you to play? And finally, she gave in, and she's been one of my our regular players since then. Before that, I had a 2-year campaign with college buddies, and my girlfriend was one of players, and she's the one who keeps all the notes, and she's the one who makes sure journals everything, which kind of was in character because her character, it was a mage who was very information oriented. So managed to pull off a thing where they went through 3 separate story arcs as well as personal arcs, and I managed to pull something out in Act 3, calling back to Act 1, that they only believed that actually happened because she had the notes to go back to. And I had her go back to the notes to show that, oh yeah, no. This already happened.
This has been a plan.
And then going all the way back to the college days, playing 2nd edition in the fraternity house. This was a game where it was a weekly game. I had 10 players playing 13 characters total. And I decided to send them through the original Ravenloft, now known as Curse of Strahd, but the original Ravenloft. And I so terrified the players and their characters that the word mist used in any context during a game of D&D, you can see them start to tremble still 30 years later.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Beautiful.
Well, thank you so much. And I asked you how to pronounce your name when we spoke, and I saw something. So I want to make sure can you pronounce your name for us again?
You've been saying it right. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. All right.
Ashlyn.
Yeah, because when you see the spelling, it looks like it might be different.
Aislinn. I've gotten Aislinn my whole life.
Yeah, gotcha.
Or Aislinn.
Aislinn.
The worst was Aslan in middle school band.
Oh yeah, that's back to
That was
kid.
a great one as a middle schooler.
Well, yeah, I can see that. But back to what was said earlier in the chat, people suck or something like that.
That was the substitute said that one on accident.
Oh, that's helpful. Yeah. Yeah, very helpful. Okay, so as we wrap things up here again, everyone, this is Ashlyn. This is the Dollar Store DM. Great member of the community, a gamer, a dungeon master, a crafter, a dice creator, a role player. And you're a role player, right? You get into role play. You take. I mean, you seem so shy today on our call. It's like hard to get a word out edgewise. So I didn't maybe think you would role play much.
I love roleplay. I am here for the drama.
Gotcha.
And I will drag my players kicking and screaming into the drama.
There you go.
Nice.
So Ashlyn is breaking the myth that girls can't be gamers and they're not into the game, along with pretty much every frickin' buddy else that plays in the games. I don't know where that comes from. Ashlyn, it's been an absolute delight to have you with us tonight. Before we raid into Jay, I'm going to give you the honors. I like having the guests ask the question one last time. You can put your own spin on it. Ashlyn, ask the question.
Oh, God.
You can do this. I faith in
It's a lot of pressure.
Because I've heard it now a number of times. I should be able to do it. But now there's pressure.
There's pressure.
It's okay. You got this.
If you don't get at least one follower from this, if you don't get at least one follower from this, you fail. You have to get at least one person that follows after you say this.
Guys, don't
That's pressure.
If you've been joining us tonight and you've been enjoying what you're seeing, and you have not followed, or if you have followed and you have not yet subscribed, or if you have subscribed and have let your subscription lapse.
Oh.
No, there's more to it than that, but as far as my memory goes, I've got one question for you.
What are you doing? Ashlyn, of all of my guests, that is one of the best renditions of the question. Absolutely well done. Someone needs to unfollow and refollow just to make that happen for her. That was absolutely fantastic. Yes, the chat all agrees. That was well done. So you'll be seeing Ashlyn with us again, very soon. And also just a reminder, so this Sunday we don't have a stream, but Fall of Red Dawn will be streaming on Monday night, rather. And then we'll have Greyhawk Awakening and our LMA will coming back next week. On the 25th, we're going to be joined by Sensei Suplex. You're really going to enjoy him. Another good streamer, member of the community, good guy. He'll be joining us that Wednesday night, the 25th. But the 22nd marks the day that we begin doing our Tears of Arid stream every single week, which we're super excited about. So you can see Rachel and Cameron and Thomas and the Understreet Rats and Jenny every single Sunday starting then. And Finley, yes. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and raid Jay, and as I do, I'll let Rachel, Rob, or Ashlyn express any final thoughts to one another or to the audience.
Audience, I love you so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening. And if I could get you guys over, come on in here for a hug. Okay. I love you guys so much.
Okay, now Rachel's leveling it up. Well done. I'm gonna expect that every time. Rob, any final thoughts?
Hey, listen, we this was fantastic. It was great to have you on, and the chat as always is rolling. Yeah, no, looking forward to things to come.
Ashlyn, you have the last word.
You guys were super fun to chat with. I loved being on this stream and sharing all of this fun stuff, and I hope that somebody does some sort of craft the first time. Do it, just do it. We're gonna channel that sort of energy into the new year, new hobbies, try something new, try to make something, and it will be wonderful. Doesn't matter how it turned out, it's wonderful.
Love it, love it, love it. So follow her on Instagram, follow her, check out her website, support. She got all kinds of stuff you can download. Ashlyn, it has been a pleasure, and we are raiding into Jay now in 3, 2, and 1. Blue Box signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.
Right.
Bye.
They're all so cool.
And ending.